Hello and welcome to this week's conversation. Today we're continuing our discussion about laneway homes. Last week we talked about how to finance such a project and the investment opportunities that a laneway home can offer you. Please feel free to visit our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, and you'll see our other laneway home conversations there too. Check them out. Tell us what you think. This week we're going to be discussing the pros and cons, and if I'm being honest, it's mostly pros about getting involved in a laneway home project. Also, I just really want you to be aware that we are available for a phone call to answer any questions you might have. You can book that on our website. The link is in the messages and it's also on our Facebook page. So let's get into it, Aryo. Okay, I can't see that on camera. I have to go buy some hats.
Oops. So I don't know what's going on with the.
We're having technology issues today, folks.
Yeah, I'm trying to have the same thing in YouTube. I hope is working well in the YouTube. I know it's good in Facebook.
Yes, our smiling faces are live streaming on Facebook
Okay.
right this very second.
Anyway, pros and cons of laneway homes. I'm getting phone calls every day and talking to many clients regarding the options they have. And one of them was yesterday that I was talking to a lady who wants to build a laneway home in her sister's lot. So I said, okay. And then she was worrying about if she can sell individually later on. I said the only way that you can do it is if we have an RT zone if your property is in RT zone. What does that mean is some properties in city of Vancouver are RT, which is multifamily, that you can subdivide. No, I'm sorry. You can stratify them and sell it as like a separate unit. Like for example, if a house has a main house and the secondary suite, and we call that infill, we don't call laneway home, then each individual unit can be stratified and sold separately. But in RS zone, which RS1, RS2, RS5, and all in many lots in city of Vancouver are RS zoning, you cannot stratify it. That means is you have to when you build a house, you own it. You basically, the cons of that, basically I have to explain that way. The cons of building your laneway home, it would be you're gonna have a stranger living in your yard in the laneway home. Of course, the pros of that is, yes, you're sharing your lot with somebody else, but you're generating income and you're giving space to somebody else to live in the area, in the floor area of the yard that it was not being utilized properly. If you're a person that you do gardening, you enjoy your backyard, it might not be a good thing for you.
Yes.
Which in that, even for that case, I came across to the point that we built the laneway home in one story and a flat roof, and have the roof on top to become a gardening space for them to plant. So that could be another way around of that if you're looking for building a laneway home, having your gardening as well. So in general, what I came up with the solution for this particular client is say, okay, if you want to build the laneway home for in your sister lot, and then you want to make sure that the money that you spend on that property would not be wasted, and your sister later on, if you have a fight with her or whatever happened and she sells the house, you cannot get the money back. Is you can basically put a lien on actually we have to first write a joint venture contract with your sister, and based on that contract you can put a lien on the property. So as soon as the property has been sold, the lawyer or the legal entity that is going to take care of transferring the fund from buyer to seller. They will take care of the transferring the money to the right direction, so you will compensate it for the money that you spend on the Laneway home. So there's always ways around it. It's just a matter of thinking outside the box. That is exactly where we come in, and what we think differently, that you make it possible for our client to achieve things that is complicated sometimes or even unachievable. Finding the solutions that makes it easy, and the client was super happy with getting this kind of response, or this kind of suggestions, that they're gonna find a way to build a Laneway home to generate income for a time being, and for later on it can be their retirement home. So
Yeah.
even though she didn't have the property, she was using her sister's property for this purpose. So this can happen to anybody. If you're you have the money, or you have the line of credit, or you are able to get some cash that can generate income, the best money generation or investment at the moment, give you the best ROI, is this type of investment. Because even if you buy, I'm not an investment advisor, I don't want to talk about that as much, but in general, the history showed that when you buy stock or any other way of doing investment, the chances are so great that you lose money, at the same time you gain as well. But real estate was always solid investment, specifically for this type Laneway homes, because you don't pay for the whole house. You're just paying for a small
Yes.
portion of it, which in many cases you are using the equity that is available on the property by using bank's money, either line of credit and or a second mortgage or anything similar to this format, with the minimum interest rate. For time being, we have,
Yeah.
for so many years, we have a very low interest rate that you can benefit from that and generate income for paying back the mortgage you took it, or line of credit you took it, as soon as possible, and from there on it's going to be cash flow easily for you.
Which is a tremendous pro.
Yes.
I mean, let's talk about some of the pros to building a Laneway house. I certainly understand what you said the cons are, and we all need to know the cons before we start spending a few $100,000 on something. But the pros are enormous with Laneway house projects.
In past, we mentioned some of the pros, but I'm going to repeat one more time.
Yeah.
The financial gain is just an enormous amount of financial gain that is going to bring, either by if you live in that property, if you're downgrading, or if you're empty nester. Many of my clients, what they did, they moved to new Laneway home,
Right.
then they rent the big house. When they rent the big house, the income that they generate from the house and from the secondary suite, it not only pays off the big chunk of the mortgage for the new Laneway home, and if there is any mortgage left from the big house, they pay a lot of that, and even they keep some for their monthly expenses.
Yeah.
This is one of them. Other
Absolutely.
pros, one of the other major pros is for families who their young kids or young adult kids, they are grown up right now and they want to start their family, and they eventually want to build either buy their property or buy their condo. Either they cannot qualify, or if they qualify, they don't want to live too far from their parents.
Yes.
So the other option would be exactly similar to the other lady I told earlier. They can use their equity, they can use their own money to build in their parents' home lot,
Yeah.
and you put a joint venture agreement between them and their parents that if they in case sometimes some families have more than one kid. So
Yeah.
when in case they passed away or they sold the house to somebody else, their investment on that Laneway home will be protected. So they
Yeah.
can live close to their parents. Grandpa can take care of their child, or grandma can take care of their child, and they will be happy to be close to each other. Or the other way around. Sometimes the grown up kids will like to take care of their parents. They
Yeah.
don't want to send their parents to care homes. These are all I'm talking about pros.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, the cons are limited, but I'm going to talk about cons as well to clarify things that you just always don't have to see good pictures.
Oh,
You're going
yeah.
to see all pictures as well, so to make sure that you're making the proper decision. So back to the families who are bringing their older parents, especially for that kind of Laneway home, I recommend to build a single story,
Yes.
so that they don't have to climb the stairs up and down, and we can in all time we can build a good sized one bedroom apartment or one bedroom Laneway home for them that they can live happily. When it's a one story, the footprint of the building is larger. When you're
Yes.
building two stories, the footprint is smaller. So the floor area distributes in two stories. So
But could you also just do master on the main and then put a guest room upstairs and a bathroom upstairs?
it depends on the lot size. In some
Right.
cases, we are limited to the number of the rooms that we can.
Right.
It's all a matter of the lot size and the investment, and to see you do have to do feasibility study to
Right.
sometimes they want to have the garage as well, so then the garage takes a chunk of the space as well. So we got to make sure that we are designing something that fits to their family, and like for example the infield that we are designing right now for a client is about 570 square feet, and we have 2 bedroom upstairs, very comfortable, very good sized bedrooms, but they're
Yeah.
both upstairs. Yes, we could do it downstairs, but the point is, because we have a limitation in terms of the footprint when it gets 2 story, the distribution is not going to be as great. So we have to work out on the design when we
Right.
get closer to that point. So the cons I want to mention, as earlier I said, like when you're dealing with your secondary suite, you have to find a tenant when you have a secondary suite downstairs. The same thing for your Laneway home. You got to be lucky to find a good tenant. This in this market, it's a landlord's market, because there is always basically lack of space for rental, and there's a lot of people who want to find a good place, and if you ever unhappy with your tenant, you can give a notice and find a new one. So, but to be clear, one of the cons of Laneway home is you are dealing with a tenant.
Yes.
Sometimes you will have to have covered carport. I'm sorry, a covered carport, or is it uncovered? Because so that is going to be another con, that some people like it to have it, some people don't. If you want to have a better layout Laneway home, we suggest to have a carport outside, not to have a garage. Some
Yeah.
people prefer to have a garage, then we are limited to the space for the Laneway home. Most
Right.
of them is going to go upstairs. So for each person, each family, each property, there is different scenarios, and our job as designers we design homes and we design lifestyle based on their lifestyle, their finances, their their properties, their zoning of the property, we design suits their needs.
Right.
So that is make a difference. Why you cannot, because I see some people have a master plan and they just copy that out of the shelf and build the same thing everywhere. Yes, you might save a couple of $1,000. That's it, maybe $2 or $3 or $4,000 on design, but you're gonna spend more money on different things in the long run, and not only that, even in the construction, it doesn't save you money to buy off-shelf drawing, but even it's worse because the design that they built for one lot isn't necessarily going to be applicable for your lot.
Yeah, site influences are quite significant, I would think.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm always available to give you a free 30 minutes consultation. You just have to book in the time. You can go to laneway-home.com and book a consultation. We can talk a little bit over the phone, and I can come over to meet you in your property to see if your property is basically applicable for this kind of a project.
Absolutely, and we certainly encourage everybody to talk to Aryo, find out if it's possible, because the upside of having a laneway home, the added value to your home, the income stream that's possible, it doesn't matter what stage of life you are, you can absolutely benefit from this kind of project if you qualify. So give Aryo a call. The Laneway Home landing page that he just I'm tripping over my words today. But it's also, you can also book the call on the myhomedesigner.com website. The link to that is in messages, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have your questions and comments.
Yes, it was nice talking to you, and looking forward to hear from our viewers.
All right, everybody, we'll see you next week for I believe our final episode on Laneway Homes. It might be. Oh, there might be 2 more left. Okay. So till next week.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.